Hi there. On our cast iron cooking group on Facebook, there seems to be a tradition for many newcomers to the group. After saying hi to everyone, the first thing they do is make homemade pizza in their cast iron. And why not? Once you've made pizza in cast iron, you'll find your takeout pizza expenses will start to shrink, especially when the kids take part and make their own pizzas in the kitchen. Here's an easy pizza recipe using the no-knead bread method for raising the dough. You can use any large cast iron pan as a pizza pan, and that's why we're using this. A round griddle from the later 1800s that's anywhere from 120 to 150 years old. The line on the bottom of the pan is not a crack or a weld, and if you discover a pan with this mark, you're practically guaranteed to own a piece of vintage American history. And it also makes an astounding cast iron pizza pan. I've tried using the no-knead bread method with 8 to 20 hours of rising time, and almost every time the yeast has spoiled and given the dough a fermented alcoholic taste. So I've had more success using the turbo method, which is to add more yeast and use a shorter rising time. The dough preparation is very simple. We mix together the wet ingredients, then we add 3½ cups of bread flour to make the dough. The dough should be very wet and sticky, and you may need to add a little more water to make it the right consistency. All we do now is cover the bowl and let the dough rise for an hour and a half. The dough is about doubled in size, and it's still very wet and sticky. At this point, we can gently knead the dough until it's coated with flour. All we need is a gentle kneading. It doesn't have to be hard and firm. Kneading the dough is a lot of fun, and here's where your kids will want to take part. This gives us enough dough for 2 full-size pizzas, so we can cut this in half and shape 2 balls of dough. All we have to do is make sure each dough ball is coated with flour. We can store 1 ball of dough and keep it in the fridge, while we use the other one to make our first pizza. And now we can bring out our cast iron pizza pan. Coat the surface of the pan with extra virgin olive oil. And then we spread cornmeal over the surface. We also add some ground pepper for extra flavor. Lay the dough onto the pan and begin shaping and pushing it out to cover the surface of the pan. The dough will stretch back, so it may take several minutes to get the dough to the size of the pan. Don't worry if the dough doesn't completely cover the pan, because we're not done yet. All we need to do is cover the pan with plastic wrap and let it sit for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. While the dough is resting, we can heat the oven to as high as it will go and prepare our sauce. My pizza sauce is very simple. We drain crushed tomatoes, then we add some garlic powder, oregano, and a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Of course, you can add your own spices and ingredients to your own pizza sauce if you want. As you can see, the dough has risen even more, and there's no difficulty at all in shaping it to fit the whole pan. This is the easy part. All we have to do now is press down on the dough and shape it into a pizza. And we're ready to add our toppings. We simply spread the sauce out over the pizza, enough to cover it. And then, of course, we add a whole bunch of mozzarella cheese. From here, we pile on the pepperoni, because of course there's no such thing as too much pepperoni. And then we sprinkle on some more Parmesan cheese. And our pizza is ready to go into the oven. At this temperature, it takes less than 15 minutes for it to be ready. Now this is a pepperoni pizza. And we let it rest in the pan for 5 minutes so the hot iron can finish baking the underside. And then we get to slide it out and serve it. Because homemade pizza in a cast iron pan is something you'll want to make again and again, especially since it's likely to disappear very quickly. Now for the second pizza, and this one is done especially for a friend. One of her favorites is called Carmine pizza, and it uses caramelized onions on top. So we spread out the dough in the pizza pan once again, we add our sauce, and we top it with mozzarella cheese pieces, the caramelized onions, and basil. This is similar to a classic Italian margherita pizza, but the onions certainly do add some lovely flavor to it. All I can say is, this pizza certainly didn't last long. There's no wrong way to make pizza, but when you make pizza in a cast iron pan, you'll see that other than the 1,000-degree brick ovens of Italy and New York City, there's simply no better way to make pizza. It's easy and it's a lot of fun, and of course, it's delicious. Thank you for watching.